Hello and welcome to the flip side of adversity. I am Dr. Veirdre Jackson, the CEO and creative behind Living Strong Consulting. So, before we go any further, if you are catching this on YouTube, do me a favor and right now click that subscribe button. You don't want to miss a single episode or content that we drop. You won't regret it. I can't tell you how many times people have told me that a flip side recap hit them right where they needed it. And it was right on time in their thread. So join our resilient community, hit that subscribe button, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the new content as soon as it drops. So now housekeeping is done. I want to ask you a question. Did you know that 80% of people give up on their wellness goals by February? Yeah, don't turn us off if it's you. No, I don't want you to turn us off. I want you to actually stay with us. There's no shame, but we actually want to have an authentic conversation. I know that life gets busy. I know that motivation fades, and before we even know it, we're actually back to the same old habits we've always had. But what if this time is different? What if you could push past the setbacks, build consistency, and finally make your wellness journey a lifestyle, not just a resolution? Well, I've got the show for you. It's tonight. I am having a conversation with a powerhouse panel ready to share their secrets to staying committed, overcoming obstacles, and truly finding their strength, physically, mentally, and emotionally. If you've ever struggled to stay on track, this is the episode for you. If chaos, discouragement, and fear have distracted you, let's get focused on your whole body stability plan. Let's break the cycle and start building habits that actually last. So stay with us. This flip side conversation is all about change, and not just changing one thing, but changing everything. So right here on the flip side, we'll be right back. Trauma, toxic stress, broken habits, and hurting heart don't define destiny, but peace isn't passive. It requires an exchange. To create a flip and access peace in the middle of the pieces, you are challenged to make an exchange of the lies that have kept you mentally hostage in basement moments. Resilience isn't about bouncing back, but bouncing forward. Living Strong, the flip side of adversity, brings powerful stories and fearless conversations from experts in the field of business, relationships, emotional, physical, and mental health, and faith-based communities. Each episode creates a brave space with powerful tools from authentic connections. Tune in as we dig in with Dr. Jackson on the flip side of adversity. Hello. We are live and I am so excited. I've got my peeps. So anyone who follows me knows that 5 a.m. time slot. I am on the road driving through the country roads to get to Find Your Strength Fitness. And I'm so excited because this evening I have our 545 crew in the house with our very own Coach D. Now, you already know Coach D because she's been here before. And she said yes to coming back. And girlfriends, I already shared it in the group. So I want some hearts. I want some thumbs up. Come on, give her love. We are so excited to have her back in the place as a certified trainer and nutritionist and owner of Find Your Strength Fitness. Y'all see my sweatshirt. I know. You're jealous. We'll handle that later. But along with her are some of the most motivated, powerful, and inspiring women that have embraced me as a part of the FYS community and squad. And so I'm so excited that we're going to have a conversation around consistency. So with Coach D, we also have Shanda McCain.
Hey, y'all.
We have Joanne Martinoli.
Hey, everybody.
And we have Wanda Fryer.
Hello.
I know. So come on, give them some hugs. FYS. I know y'all are out there. Go ahead. Give them some hearts. Give them some thumbs up. Let's see it flowing. But I actually want to jump into this because I started off by sharing the statistics that literally by February, 80% of people have given up on that resolution. And we know one of the top resolutions that people have has something to do with wellness, fitness, weight loss, the whole thing. And so if we know that that statistic is real, there's no reason to be ashamed about it, but let's get strategic with it. So I'd like to just jump in and not speak to Coach D yet, because we know she's fierce and on fire. But I would love to hear from the three of you, each kind of answering for our audience. What inspired you to actually even get started in the first place? Anyone can take it.
For me, it was watching how big I had gotten, and then I have other ailments on top of that. So I needed to reel in and focus on my health. I yo-yo diet for years, watched the weight go up and down, would be happy, then sad. But I think learning to take baby steps and taking in and being happy of what you do see in that little progress, and know that you're going to get where you want to be if you take your time. Just it takes patience, along with a good support group.
Yes.
That really, really helps. But that's where it started for me.
Yeah. Thank you for your honesty and your transparency. Joanne?
So for me, I think it's connecting with the coach. Before I met Dee, I went to another gym, which I still go to as well. And it was getting to know the person that was helping to inspire me to want to come back again tomorrow. And then also getting involved with the community that's in the gym as well. I think if you just roll in, put your shoes on, do your class and leave, you're never going to be able to commit to that. You need to get involved with the people that are there, start making friends, talk to the coach, learn about her or him, and make new friends.
Yes. Yeah. Wanda?
How I started, it was during COVID, so it was virtual. And my son proposed to his girlfriend, and the very next day I was like, I need to get in shape because I don't want to have these pictures forever where I'm not looking so good. So reached out to Coach. She responded immediately, and we did a virtual Zoom, and I started with that because I thought, of course, she's going to say everything that I want to hear. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. My husband's like, well, you can just quit if you don't like it. So I was like, okay. And then finally met her in the dungeon for the first time in person. And, and it was great. And I think what has kept me going, I get bored easily. So between the different exercises, even though we might be working on the same muscle group, it's very different. The music's good. The encouragement's great. The community's fabulous. And it just keeps me coming back and just making that commitment. I made the appointment. Everybody's expecting me to be there. And if I'm not, people are reaching out. Where are you? Because I do that to other people too. I miss you. Where have you been?
Yes.
So it just, accountability,
That's
but
what
just,
I was going to say. Yep.
accountability. And, I like it. you know, and the people I have met, our paths never would have crossed. And I have met so many wonderful people, and it's just fun. It's actually fun.
Yeah. I love all of the elements of the honesty in that when we see something that is changing in us, to take the powerful step of making the decision that I want something different. And it doesn't always have to deal with the scale itself. It can be your numbers. Ladies know your numbers. It can just be your mental and emotional wellness. It can be finding the coach that actually resonates with you. It's finding the community and the variety. But ultimately, it's the accountability for me as well that has me drive 45 minutes. So anyone who is saying, oh, I can't get to the gym, 45 minutes at 5:45 in the morning to be with these women as often as I can. So now I know I muted you from the start, Coach T. I appreciate you letting us just share.
Okay.
So I shared the statistic. And from your experience, why do you think so many people quit?
So in my experience, what I find is that your initial mindset means a lot, right? So the people who I see have the greatest success are those who set themselves up for achieving a lifestyle. They're looking for something that's going to be sustainable. They want something that will be able to they'll be able to fit into their lifestyle, right? The people who are the greatest or who have the greatest success or greatest percentage of failure, and they kind of stop and they fall off, are those who try to go from 0 to 100 right away. So if I'm not working out at all right now, and now all of a sudden I want to do 6 days a week or 7 days a week, and I need to do 2 workouts a day, and I'm going to completely revamp my whole diet. That's kind of a way to set yourself up for failure, because it's not a sustainable way of life. I feel like your expectations are very important. And the most important thing when you're getting started is not to focus on the result that you're looking for, but rather focus on the process that's going to get you there. And so that small flip in your focus is going to make a world of difference.
I have to really agree and echo how that resonated with me. I think because for someone who never struggled with her weight until menopause, that's a whole nother show. It's a whole nother show. I'm working on it. But I never struggled with my weight. Like, all I would change what I eat, run some more, and it's gone. And then I got to this place that it would not go anywhere. I was older, my body was different, my hormones were different. And when I wanted to see something, a particular thing by a particular date, I found myself so frustrated. But when I settled in and just stayed committed to the process and just continued to follow and trust that what you're sharing is going to work, I literally looked up and I was different. And all of the emotional stress and worry, I really was able to release that.
You know what else that just made me think of, V, is that sometimes we try to fall back into what worked for us when we were 20. Right?
Yes.
And we're not trusting of a coach who actually has studied this. Not only have I studied it, but I've also lived it.
Yes.
I didn't change my entire lifestyle until I was in my 40s. So anyway, I feel like you can't fall back into what you did before and think that you're going to get the same result at 40, at 50 as you did at 20, right? And so it's very important that you seek out, like a couple of the ladies said already, someone who knows what they're talking about, And you have to trust them, and you have to understand that as you go into menopause and as your hormone levels are different and as your estrogen level drops, your body is going to store fat differently. And so you have to take a different approach.
Yeah.
If you want if you want to achieve the result, you have to take a different approach. So yeah.
So there's something I want to come back to. So hold me accountable, because I also feel like there are some who I have a wide range of listeners from all around the world. And so I know that there are some who are young who are like, okay, this makes sense to me. And I've got some who are older who are like, ooh, no, I'm gonna hurt my hip. Like, I can't, I don't know, I can't do that. So I want to ask Shanda something, but then I want to come back to that, because I want everyone to feel included in this conversation and understand why it is so important, especially as we get older. But Shanda, so we are working women. And we're grandparents.
Yes.
I know y'all can't tell. I know. It's okay. But when we recognize that life is literally our schedules, our stress, the unexpected stuff that happens, my question is, how do you push through moments of being discouraged and you stay committed to your health and wellness?
Well, for me, I suffer from Crohn's. It is a day by day for me to get up. There are days when I wake up, joints are hurting, bloated, want to sleep, being fatigued. But I feel like to push through, I have to get up. 5-second roll, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put your feet on the floor, get to the gym. Once I get to that gym, my whole mentality changes. I'm walking in there, you have all the community talking to you, we all hype each other up. That 45 minutes is my time. That is for me. That is for me to de-stress, let anything out, know that I'm in a trusted place. And that energy gives me my energy throughout the day. Because like I said, with Crohn's, you get tired very easily. But I feel like once I get started and I push through that workout, it gives me, like, I know I can do this. I know I can push through. And I also know I have a granddaughter right now and 2 more on the way. I want to be there for them. I want to get up and say, okay, I can run around with you. I can play with you. I can toss you in the air. It may be a struggle, but I'm going to do it no matter what. So that pushes me every day.
Oh, I knew why. That's why I asked you that question, because we are so. I also want to be strong enough for my G babies. I want to be that Gigi that they know when she comes to town, we're going to do stuff.
Exactly.
But there's power. So I heard legacy. Remember your why. But I also heard you say that even when you don't feel like it, get up. So you just stepped on somebody's toes. I'm just letting you know, because you're not always going to feel like it. But can I tell y'all, if Shanda is not in the room, people are like, "What? Where's Shanda?" Because she sets the tone for everybody. And you heard that she has a condition, and that hasn't stopped her. And so, Coach D, when people are feeling like I'm too old, I have this condition, that I might not, maybe I shouldn't do it, I've waited too late, what do you say to those who are putting their age or the condition in front of their new decisions?
I think it's important for you to understand that you need to start with wherever it is that you are. So if you go to a coach or if you go to a gym and you feel that they're going to push you into doing something that is probably not right, if they're not understanding. Now, that's not to say that, because, sometimes people will come in and they'll be afraid because it's new, right? And I'm going to still encourage you, but not push you into hurting yourself. So I think it's really important to find a space where you feel safe. It's never too late. You can be 60 years old, 70 years old, and you can start strength training, which is what I would love for people to prioritize. Moving your body is important no matter what it is that you do. So if you're able to walk, walk. If you're able to pick up some 5-pound weights, pick up those weights. I think what we fail to realize is that A, it's never too late. B, it is crucial as you age that you combat not only your muscle loss, the loss of bone density, which happens yearly, anywhere between, I think the statistics are like 1% to 3% of my muscle mass, my bone density. I'm losing that if I'm not working to maintain and build more. And so if you have never done strength training before, it's never too late to start. If you're 60 years old and you're like, I've never lifted weights, that's okay, honey. Start it right now. Get with someone who will do it in a space where you feel comfortable. Wanda had never really gone into any kind of weightlifting or weight training before, but she wanted this look in her dress for her son's wedding, okay? And she was able to achieve it. So I think more so than just the aesthetic, to what you were asking me, V, we have to understand how important it is to have a strong body. There are so many people who are one injury away from being completely immobile. And if you fall, you could take yourself out for life. And so you want your body to be strong enough to be able to withstand life, right?
Yeah. I love the and look, you are getting the hearts. I know, y'all. I know. Bring it. The statement, as Esther echoed in the comments, it's never too late. And so that starts with a mindset shift and being willing and able to say, I'm going to invest in me and trust the person I've chosen to guide me through this. But I'm not necessarily going to be able to do the thing that I've always done or that I'm comfortable in doing, because I'm going to tell y'all, I was scared. The first few weeks, I was terrified getting up, getting dressed. I'm like, why am I doing this? You're going to do this. It's going to be. I was terrified, but I got up and did it because I had not, that wasn't something I thought I needed, but it absolutely is what broke through for me. So Wanda, I don't know that you've ever, I know I've never told you this, but I used to be terrified of Tuesday. I'm just going to look in the camera.
Yeah.
Turn up Tuesday.
Tuesday.
As Joanne gives hearts, my emoji will be the big-eyed emoji. I would avoid Tuesdays and Saturdays. Neither one says Saturday sweat and turn up Tuesday. Look it up. Change your life. But what? I can't remember if it was a Tuesday or it was a Saturday. And we got into a rhythm with one another. Like with every exercise, we were challenging each other back and forth. First of all, that was when I was like, she's my girl. I'm going to look for Wanda every time. But you even said how important community is to this journey. And I just want to say that for me was a shift for me because it actually became fun. It became fun because I was like, woo, Wanda said, we going in.
It must have been the rowers.
Yeah, it was literally, but that whole particular day, every single exercise, and you commented on us staying in rhythm. I was like, okay, Wanda said it, we're going to do it. Yes. But it made it fun. And from your perspective, how or why does community actually lock in for you, like that long-term fitness or wellness commitment?
I guess I need the push. I'm competitive, not to where I'm really feisty about it, but there's a competitive edge. Like I want to be first, whatever it is. If it's the rowers, I want to be first, no matter what it is. But if somebody beats me, that's fine. But they're going to have to earn that spot.
I
to beat
love
me.
that.
about Wanda.
You better send some snaps in the chat for Wanda.
But it's the encouragement. If I'm picking up some weights and I look over at Shanda and I go, oh, her and Joanne, like they're picking up heavier weights than me. It's like, fine, I'll do the heavier weights because they're looking at me like, what are you doing with those? And I've done that to other people too, to where I'm like, you're stronger than that. You don't need to be lifting those little weights. Pick up the bigger ones, and they do, and they're strong and capable.
Yeah.
And so I guess I like that push, that encouragement, and of course the coach, always her encouragement. And I've had her come up to me and just say, "Are you injured?" Which I love that fact that she makes sure you're not injured.
Yes.
And of course I say no, and she's like, "All right, the next round, a heavier weight." It's like, "Yes, ma'am."
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and she's right because she can see that I'm not doing as much as I could. She can see it, and she calls me out when she needs to, and I like that.
Yeah.
So,
Many of us don't necessarily like it, but it's what we need.
yes.
It's what we need.
And the
Because she
coach
knows
is
I will
okay
quickly,
that you don't like it.
I will quickly roll my eyes. That Coach D, she knows. She knows I will roll my eyes. But it's what we need. It's what we need.
Yes.
And when we recognize it's what we need, Joanne, I know you're a mom, and there are so many moms that will take care of everybody else and feel guilty about creating that time for them. What do you say to that mom who's just like, well, I need to make sure everybody else is okay before I do this?
Well, I was that person. So, I made excuses for a long time. And then one day I had a friend who she was like, hey, there's this Groupon, 3 classes. Just go to these 3 classes. I was like, I don't want to. And she was like, come on, it's just 3. And then you don't ever have to go again. And it was 3 classes, and I still go to that studio 8 years later. And that it just comes from that community, right? Like I went there, I met the right people, and I built relationships that helped me want to be there. But going back to making time for myself, you have to do that. You have to figure out whether it's getting up at 5 a.m. and doing it before the kids get up while your husband's still asleep, or doing it the minute, hey, listen, I'm going to the gym at 5:30. I expect you to be here at 5 because I got to go. Fortunately, my kids are older, so I just say, I'll see you guys later. But you have to find that balance that you can give your family and yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, like Dee always says, I can. I'm if I'm not there, Dee's like, yeah, right? Because she knows I'm there no matter what. My house could be on fire. I'd be like, you guys got that? I gotta go.
I've gotta go. So, Shanda, I know you mentioned legacy. Any of you, I want to throw it out there. So, because I hear that a lot as a coach and as a trainer, talking specifically with women around resilience and owning and knowing who you are and setting that priority. I hear it a lot. Like, well, I don't really know who I am because everyone else, I take care of everybody. That's who I am. But we're more than that. So in any other perspectives on the woman who's listening who is feeling guilty about creating this space and time?
That was actually life-changing for me. So there were a couple of different things at play when I finally decided to get myself together. And I realized by being completely real with myself that if I continued the lifestyle that I was living, eating whatever and never exercising and always putting everybody ahead of myself, if I continue down that path, all of the things that I cared so much about, I may not be here to experience them anymore. So that kind of realization is what catapulted me into making time for myself. Now, you have to be strong and stand up for yourself, right? So sometimes it's just a matter of your family having to change their mindset as well. You need to understand that this is important to me. Because you love me, then I know that this is going to be important to you also, right? We have to learn how to stand up for ourselves. And I think sometimes that's what is missing. The last thing that I want to say is that I also think that oftentimes we claim the habits that we've picked up from our upbringing. I notice it a lot of times when I have a client who comes to me and maybe they're type 2 diabetic and they say, well, this runs in my family. Well, it actually doesn't. It's the habits that run in your family, right? So it's the things that we've picked up along the way that can create that for us as well. So if you don't come from a healthy family, you can create a healthy family. It can start with you, right? So I think that's just really important. Yeah.
I have to agree with her, like when she said about the support system, because I have the gym as my support also, but my husband and my kids, they were also a big part. And I was that person, still that person that everyone relies on.
We're working on it.
We're working on that. But my kids and my husband and Dee, they're like, it's okay to say no. And you don't got to give a reason to say no. It's okay for you, even if it's family. No, I don't explain yourself. Just say that no. And it's really helping me right now.
Yes, just say no.
Just say no.
And you don't have to give a reason.
Nope.
That's a whole t-shirt.
Okay.
It's a whole t-shirt.
I think what people don't realize is that once you put out there that you are making yourself a priority, then other people start to respect that and realize, oh, hold on one second. This is really important to her. Let me be supportive of this situation and help her reach her goals.
Joanne, you nailed a conversation I've had oftentimes, specifically with women, but we actually train people on how to treat us and then get frustrated that they're following the lessons we've taught them. When you begin to shift how you want to be treated, people will then follow the lessons you give them. And so if you've trained them to depend on you from the moment your eyes wake in the morning and hold on to you, you cannot get upset when you now recognize there's something I need and you're going to have to wait. You just have to retrain. Just have to retrain.
Yes.
Yeah. What is something that has surprised you about you on this journey?
That I can lift these heavy weights.
Yes, Wanda.
I know that's right.
I've never lifted weights before, and I was lifting 40 pounds last night.
Yes.
So it's really surprising to me, and because of that, I have a 5-year-old grandson that he knows that I'm the grandma that when I tell you to run because I'm chasing you, you better run because I'm coming full steam at you. And I can pick him up, and he loves that. That I can sit on the floor with my grandkids and then get back up, and that it's not a problem. That I can run around and play with them, and it's the best thing to that I'm full on chasing them and they're giggling and screaming.
Yes.
And it's just the best feeling. And so even though we all know that you're supposed to exercise and eat right, but to actually do it, it feels good.
Yeah.
It just feels good, all of that. And then to chase my grandkids, it's just, they know I'm the one that, I'm going to run after you.
Yeah.
I'm picking him up, and he's heavy now, and I can pick him up, and he knows it. And so, yeah, it's just, I'm strong. I'm the strong grandmother. So,
I know that's the next shirt.
Yes.
I'm the strong grandmother. Anyone else? What has surprised you?
I think it surprised me how much my commitment to the gym affected my family. Both of my kids had zero interest in doing anything other than playing Xbox. And my younger son comes to Find Your Strength with me. He gets up at 5 a.m. on Fridays. And for a 16-year-old, I have to give him a lot of credit.
Yes.
And then my older son goes to he just goes to a regular gym by himself. But, they both have committed to working out and going to the gym. And so I think that if I had just said no to those 3 classes all those years ago and still just sat on the couch and ate some chips and watched some TV, that they would still just be playing Xbox.
Yes.
You set the example.
Yeah,
Set
that's
the
right.
example, shift and changed literally their health journey as young people. Wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprises. What you got?
I would say I agree with Wanda with the strength. I never realized how strong I was until I started lifting the heavier weights. So you realize how strong you really are, but not only with the weightlifting, but mentally. Like, there are things that I never thought I would ever be able to do mentally, as far as distancing myself from people, cutting people off, and not feeling some type of way about doing it. So mentally, I think a lot has to do with being able to do that. Also, my nutrition. I will
We
say
getting ready to go there.
the nutrition part of it, because even though I fluctuate a little bit now, not like I was. I would gain 10, 15. Now it's maybe 4 or 5, but I focus on my nutrition. I learned to watch and make sure my protein is higher on certain things and not on other things. So that it was a big part of the nutrition part of it. So
Yeah. Awesome. Coach D, surprises.
I think the biggest surprise in this whole journey for me has been, number one, the first surprise was the way that it changed my body composition. The way that strength training and proper nutrition changes, you don't only become a smaller version of yourself, but the muscle really helps you to change the way that your whole body looks, right? So that was the first surprise, like looking in the mirror, walking past the mirror and like looking at my arms and being like, what is that little, so that's a nice thing to experience. But also just a greater part of it is the way that it has changed my life. I mean, I went from corporate America, 9 to 5, doing my thing, but actually finding my purpose in my life and being willing to take the risk in order to help other people to achieve the same thing that I've been able to achieve. I think that has been a surprise for me. Just when I look back over my life, having made this change at such a late part of my life and sticking with it has been really, it's been nice.
Yeah. For me, and I know A was in here at one point. I don't know if she's still here, but it has been those moments where I've had to mentally go beyond what I thought I could do. Again, I have these nuggets, these moments, girlfriend gathering. I told y'all the one when I'm laying on the floor and Coach D gets down on the floor with me and says, remember who you are. I'm like, oh, I got to come here forever now. But there was this, the box jump. I had utter fear. Now I'm already afraid. It's a Saturday. I showed up. Now she has these boxes out that you got to jump straight from the floor to. I can't even run and jump on. And A was next to me, and she said, you can do it. You could do it. Just go. And she kept encouraging me until I did the first jump.
Yes.
And like the mental shift of moving past something you told yourself you couldn't do. Someone else believed that you could do it and talked to you until you did it. And then you realized it was in you the whole time. And it's those moments that, even now, as your husband walks up to me and says, are you injured? I'm like, she giving you script? She giving you script? I'm like, I don't know. Those look very heavy. but still leaning in.
Mm-hmm.
So that community, the surprise that there's more in me than I even realized was there.
Yes.
Those moments are powerful, which leads me to my next question. Coach D, how does this whole conversation around fitness actually impact not only your physical health, but your mental and emotional wellness?
Yes. So I think what you just stated is very important. And when you talked about getting over a hurdle or getting over a mental obstacle to do something in the gym that you were either afraid to do or have never done and just were unsure if you could do it, I really feel like those moments in the gym, they translate out into real life, right? So it makes me feel powerful. It makes me feel, if I know that I can pick this weight up and push it over my head, or if I know that I couldn't do push up before and now I can do at least one solid push up or whatever that could be, a box jump, it really helps me when I leave that threshold of the gym. Now, if I have to go in and I have to talk to somebody at work, I have to have a difficult conversation at work, or if I have to advocate for myself somewhere in some space in my life, it helps me to know and feel that sense of accomplishment. If I could do it there, I can do it out here, right? So never underestimate the power that your mind will also be able to get from doing those things in the gym. It's not always about, like you said, your physical, the aesthetic or, what it's doing for you physically, but being able to push past those points mentally are so crucial. So crucial.
Yeah, you build that muscle memory in literally your neurological pathways, and it transcends into other ways.
And you know what, V, before we get off of that, I want to also impress upon everybody who feels like, well, the result that I'm looking for is so far in the future, and it's not. If you focus on your mental health as well and how it's going to make you feel just getting up and showing up for yourself every day, that result is really right around the corner.
Yes. Oh, so you notice I said box jump. I did not say push up. Push-ups are of the devil. I just
burpees.
Right. We all have that exercise that you're just like, oh, I don't want to do it. And so there are things that we may not necessarily want to do, but you chose a specific title for this particular session. Just imagine if this was a time you decided not to give up. I'm curious, why was that title so important, especially now?
Just like so many other people, I was never overweight or unhealthy in my younger life. I was an athlete when I was in school, but once I got into like my late 20s, early 30s, I started to become a little bit more sedentary. And it was easy then. If I picked up a couple pounds, like you said, I would just, start walking or go for a run and whatever. And it would come back off. But once I really got into the throes of motherhood and my husband, who was in the Army, and it was, my life was much busier. And I really started to find myself in that unhealthy space. Instead of doing the things that I had done before, I've been on the roller coaster, I've done the yo-yo, I've done Weight Watchers and Atkins and all the quick fixes, right? This time I decided that no matter what, I was going to keep going. Even if I didn't see the result as quickly as I wanted, I focused more on, like I said, the process and making my life healthier. And so for me, because I was focused on that, there was no reason to quit, right? Because if I'm not focusing on the weight on the scale, but I'm actually focusing on how can I develop good habits for my life so that I can be around for my family, there is no reason to retreat from that ever.
Right.
Even if the scale's not doing what you wanted to do, okay, but I'm taking better care of myself. So why would I stop doing it? So it's very important that you make that you flip that switch.
Mhm.
And this was the time when I decided to keep going. And it made all the difference in my life. So that is why I chose that title for this conversation, because I need for people to understand that there is never a good reason to give up on taking good care of yourself.
And you stress that not only is it the physical movement, but it's also your nutrition, which for me has been the hardest part of this journey. I think mostly not because I don't eat, I eat a lot. It's more that I don't eat enough. And so, and I just also want to just validate, yes, Dionna said burpees are work of the devil.
Yes.
They are not.
Nisi co-signed as well. So I would just want to first acknowledge
let me
I'm
ask
not
you a
by
question real
myself.
quick. If you fall down on the floor, what do you have to do? What do you have to do?
You gotta get up.
You gotta get back up. Okay, that's
Yes.
a burpee.
So
They're
y'all
still
are
the
gonna
devil.
laugh. So after Tuesdays, I don't know what we did Tuesday, but after Tuesday, I could not raise if I fell on the floor, I was gonna have to roll me until I found to a leverage point. Like my core, my whole thing.
That medicine ball.
That medicine ball, yes. I was like, what did we do? But I digress. So it is the stories, it's the community, it's the movement, it's the strength training, it's the pushing past and doing the things that you never believed you could do, regardless of age. And it is what you are putting in your mouth.
Yes.
Tell me about your nutrition journey in partnership with your movement and like weight training journey. Yes.
The first time I did the nutrition group with Coach, she had me weighing things and actually reading what a serving size. And that was very enlightening because no wonder why I'm overweight. I'm eating like 3 times what the portion size is, And so weighing and measuring everything was a big eye opener for me, and logging in everything, because I get loosey goosey when I don't log in, and then I wonder why my jeans are a little bit tighter than what they're supposed to be. Because then when I consistently log everything in and weigh and measure, the pounds kind of just come off.
Yeah.
And she gave me the calorie count and the protein, fats, and carbs, and I logged those in, and that was eye opening and key to everything. For me.
There's a data statement that it's the thing that you measure that actually changes. And so if you're monitoring, you're measuring, you're actually tracking it, that's a key element for that monitoring that holds you accountable to creating that change.
Absolutely.
Yes. Nutrition.
Yeah. I think for me, it was learning the reality of nutrition and not the BS that you hear on the internet or read on the internet. It's hearing from somebody that actually knows what she's talking about because she's trained and learned what she needs to know, lived it, actually is living proof of what works, and not thinking, oh, let me go do 7 days of cardio and not eat any carbs and I'm going to definitely lose weight. Because in reality, it doesn't work like that.
No.
So,
drop the lies.
Yes.
Find out the truth.
Yes.
Love it.
For me, the monthly nutrition meetings really help. The logging, I have to log, but learning more about macros took it to a whole nother level.
Mhm.
And also, like, to be in a grocery store and look for something sweet, and then your phone rings or you get a text message from somebody.
Right? That
and you're
isn't
like, well,
that
shit,
weird?
right there. Yeah.
Isn't that weird how
It's the
she does
weirdest
that?
feeling. It really is. But yeah, learning about macros and how to know how much protein you're taking in, what you should be taking in, and definitely logging. If I don't log, I go. I'm like you, Wanda. That's and I weigh. I weigh my food, and learning to weigh in grams versus ounces is a game changer.
Yep.
So that one, yeah.
Yes. So before you answer, I would actually like for you to share for the person who has never weighed anything, does not have any kind of tracker, like I just want to eat. What are some hacks for actually developing the habit for consistency to actually do?
So the first thing I will say is you have to create a realistic expectation. So if your goal, the way that I'm going to coach someone who has a, who's going into competition for bodybuilding is going to be different. The way that I'm going to coach them with nutrition is going to be different from a working mother and a wife who just wants to be at a comfortable weight. And so you have to create a realistic expectation. That's number one, because hands down, being accountable for everything that you eat is the best and most efficient way to get to the quickest result. But if you're not wanting to do that, and if you know that that doesn't fit into your lifestyle as being something that's sustainable, there are ways around it. So the one thing that I use commonly with people who don't want to learn how to log or don't make the time to do it is you can still be accountable for what you're going to eat. So no matter what, you're going to have to make some time for something, because if you just want to fly by the seat of your pants, you're never going to get there. So that's just the truth of it, right? And it doesn't matter whether you are on the road, whether you're home all day, whether you're working in an office, it doesn't matter. You still have to take a few minutes the day before and figure out, what is it that I'm going to eat tomorrow? So if you're not a tracker, you say, all right, well, I'm going to eat 3 times tomorrow. These are going to be my meals. For lunch, for breakfast, I'm going to have, whatever. For lunch, I'm going to have whatever. And then for dinner, I'm going to have this. My 2 snacks will be. And I would encourage you to think of what you can add to your diet that you know is going to be good for your health. So if you're a snacker and you know that you're going to get those 2 snacks in, make it a piece of fruit. Make it something that has fiber in it, right? You have to do a little bit of research and learn. Anything that's worth getting, you're going to have to work a little bit to get to it, right? So you got your 3 meals, you've got your 2 snacks. This is what I'm going to eat tomorrow, and that's it, period. So now if I get to my breakfast, I ate that, it's all good. Now it's time for me to have my lunch. Oh, well, my boss brought in cinnamon rolls. But that wasn't on your plan for today, right? That wasn't on what you planned for today. So you're getting yourself into the habit of being accountable for what you are eating. Even if it's not the best food, you're still getting yourself into the habit of planning it and making sure that you stick with what you planned, which actually that was the way that I started. And I think it's important, V, that I just bring up, I didn't start with exercise. When I decided to turn this whole thing around, I started with my nutrition. So I was able to lose a considerable amount of weight before I even started exercising. The only difference is that the exercise, like I said, it changed the shape of my body. But if you just focus on planning your meals the day before, sticking with what you planned, don't deviate from it. If there's something that you want that next day, plan it for the day after then.
Okay.
Right? Stick with what you planned. What you're developing then is the habit of discipline. So even if you're not eating exactly what you need to eat to lose all the weight you want, you're still going to be able to be disciplined enough to say, in this moment, I didn't plan for this. I'm not going to eat it right now. Right. And I do nutrition coaching. So, and it's not one size fits all. So if there is someone who wants to learn more about nutrition and the way that it can fit into their lifestyle, everybody I understand is not going to take the logging approach, but I can work with you with wherever you are and teach you how to eat properly.
What's a food myth that people have come to you thinking was true?
Oh, girl, the one that I hate the most.
Oh, which
carbs.
One?
Carbs gonna make me fat. If I eat carbs, I'm gonna get fat. I gotta stop eating these carbs if I want to lose weight. No. You do not. The carb myth is definitely one that gets me. When people tell me that somebody told them that if they eat too much fruit, it's too much sugar, I'm like, oh my gosh. Nobody ever developed a really unhealthy lifestyle because they ate too many apples and bananas. Like, seriously, right? Now, I can eat too many cupcakes.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
But the carb myth is just that. It's a myth. You do not have to cut out any one particular food or food group in order to achieve your weight loss. It's just that you have to be mindful of how much you are eating. And there are different carbs, right? Just like there's different proteins, there's different fats. So learn about it and don't just take somebody's advice. Well, my girlfriend, she lost 40 pounds because she only eats meat. Well, I guess she did.
Or she ate cabbage.
Okay. I guess she did, but she also probably lost her muscle. She lost, water weight. She didn't only lose fat just by cutting out carbohydrates. So yeah, the carb myth is definitely the one.
So for me, I had no idea how important and how often she was going to mention protein. If you go to FYS in the chat, I want an emoji that represents the conversation around protein. Put it in the comments right now. Give me an emoji for protein. She talked about protein all the time. When she gave me my protein goal, I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to eat anything else. But why? So what's been your journey with protein?
I did the Atkins diet. So when I started with her and the protein, she's like, oh, a lot of people have trouble reaching that. I'm like, oh, I won't have a problem reaching that. And then I started, eating the proper things. And then I said, I can't hit it. I can't hit it like protein. So yeah, it's just, it definitely makes a difference. And doing the Atkins, cutting out stuff that I love. I love potatoes. And talking to her, it's like, they are good for you, the fiber and the different nutrients in them. And I can eat them. And just the other stuff that fruit, I love fruit in the summertime and I can eat that. And Atkins, I couldn't. And I was like, I love fruit. So that mind change and just weighing everything. And one of the key things for me, she would have us log in our food the night before, plan for it. So then I have found, true to her words, that you'll stick with it because it's like I have it already planned out and I stick with it because it's like, nope, I'm not going to have that because I already have everything and my numbers are adding up the way I want. So no, it gives me the discipline to say no to something that normally I'd be like, okay, I'll have that cinnamon roll. I'm like, I'll have 2 cupcakes, extra frosting, So it gives you that discipline because it's like, well, I'm trying to achieve something. I want to be healthy. And her encouragement definitely does that. And just when I hear wacky things on the internet that I can go to her and just say, I heard this. And she just tells it very plainly and the way that I need to hear it. And I go, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And I trust her. She's living proof. She lived it. And I just adore her.
Oh, I adore you too, girl.
Yeah. Journey with protein.
And my protein goal is high.
Right. I feel like mine is too. It's everyone's protein goal. Oh God. I wish y'all could see this emoji. Y'all are funny.
But in the beginning, it was trying to understand what good proteins are versus just eating anything and being like, Sweet, done.
Mhm.
So understanding what lean protein is, and then also finding those things that you can add to what you're eating, and not just a scoop of protein powder. Like becoming friends with cottage cheese, even though
It's delicious.
even though not everybody
lies you tell.
yeah, figuring out how to work it in. Shrimp, eat your shrimp,
Girl,
Yes.
shrimp.
Yep. So just finding those things that you can eat, having shredded chicken in the refrigerator that you can just go and like, all right, I'm hungry. And instead of getting pretzels or cheese, go get some
Get
of
the
that shredded
protein.
chicken and eat that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Protein?
I used to struggle with protein. I usually can hit my numbers pretty good. But then it's learning to make cottage cheese bowls and and making sure I get chicken because I don't eat red meat because of my Crohn. So I get a lot of chicken, turkey, ground turkey.
Mhm.
But also the recipe books that Dee provides with the breakdown, it really helps you find something that you can put your protein numbers in there. And yes, they're very high.
Yes.
They're very high.
Which is why I can
What?
guarantee that the majority of
Yes.
you all are not eating
Not
enough
eating enough
protein.
Yes.
Look, she calling us all out. She doesn't even see y'all, and she didn't call you out. She says, so why is this protein goal so important to this journey?
It's crucial because of muscle. Protein is the only component to your macronutrients, which are your carbs, fats, protein. Protein is the only one that will help you build and retain your muscle mass. And so as we go along this journey, it's crucially important because of that, right? You can't build muscle with fats, with carbs, unfortunately. Wouldn't it be great if carbs was the muscle builder?
Yes.
Carbs is the energy source, though, so we still need that. However, also, protein is what satiates you. So you can be eating over your calories every day because you're not eating enough protein. So you're finding that even though I'm eating, for some reason I'm just never satisfied, right? You're never reaching that state of satiety. And so the reason for that is because your protein numbers are too low. And so when we think about overeating, most commonly it's because we're not eating enough protein. We're eating too much of the other stuff. And one of the things that I talked about at our girlfriends gathering was that every food that has protein in it is not a protein source. So when people talk about peanut butter being protein and nuts and cheese, those things have protein in them, but they are not a protein source. And so we need to be able to differentiate between those things, right? I need to know the difference between a ribeye steak and a filet. I need to know which one is better for me, right?
Yeah.
So those things are really important.
So how do people connect with you? Because they're like, I don't know the difference between any of those things.
And I didn't either. My website actually gives you the opportunity to purchase a nutrition consultation with me. If you have questions about it, preliminarily, we can talk through it and maybe see if it's a good fit before you actually make the purchase. There's a text line also on my website, and you can send me a text. We can set up a time for a 30-minute consultation and talk about what it is that you need specifically to figure out if I would be a good fit.
It's worth
for
it.
What you're looking for.
Definitely do it.
Definitely.
I love you.
I love you too, girl.
What is the website? Like, people are sitting on the end of their seat like, and she's going to give it.
It's very easily fysfitness.net. So FYS, like the acronym for Find Your Strength, fitness.net.
Awesome.
You can find it.
So I believe in giving people their flowers while they are still with us. So in the chat, I want one word that represents D. One word that represents Coach D for you. And I'm asking the three of you, what is a word that represents Coach D and your journey? Like when you think of Coach D, what comes up for you?
Motivational.
Yes, I would go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Truth.
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 Grateful.
Grateful. Yes. I'm I almost feel like it's like Houdini. I don't know. Do you know, like she Holy Ghost cousin or something? Because those moments when I am somewhere else and she sends me a text or this past Broad Street was I had a whole list of reasons why I wasn't going to run last year. And I created my plan. I was ready. I thought it was going to rain. I had all my whole reason. And ding, ding, this whole motivational video of you got this, you can do it. It's like, I don't know. For me, it's Holy Ghost Junior. It's something. Because out of the blue, she will motivate you. She will inspire you. She will encourage you from an authentic place. And she genuinely cares about all of us. Cares about all of us. I tell you, I can't believe how fast this time goes by. Oh, look, encourager, committed. I love it. Inspirational. Y'all better come through honest. Yes. Ribeye. I think that was from another conversation. Well, ladies, I appreciate you coming on, and I always want to close with, because I was not kidding in the opening monologue. I cannot tell you how many times I'm out speaking somewhere and someone will say, when someone sent me that message or that show, it was exactly what I needed. I will never forget, I was speaking at a nurses conference and a nurse came to me and we had never met ever. And she found my podcast and she was like, I literally listened to you every single day just so I could go into the hospital during COVID. And so I know that this will hit someone at just the right moment. So I want you to think about that person who is getting ready to give up. What would you say to that person? They're getting ready to say, you know what? Nah, I can't do it. What would you say to them?
You want me to go first? You are literally one decision away from changing your entire life. The thing that is going to make you uncomfortable can change your entire life. I am living proof of that. It literally still makes me emotional when I think about everything that I went through to get where I am. And if I had decided not to do it, it would have not only impacted me, but it would have impacted everybody else who I've been able to help along this journey. And so don't give up. If you are still here, you still have an opportunity. So that's it. That one decision can change your whole life and change the life of other people.
Everyone you're connected to. Wonderful. Ladies?
You still have a purpose. There's a reason that you can push through this. There's a purpose. You may not see that purpose right now, but it will be shown to you. So keep fighting. Keep fighting for you.
Keep fighting for you and your purpose.
I would say just look around. There are people around you that love you, need you here. Don't give up. Ask somebody for help. There's always somebody that's willing to help you, whether it's a stranger that you're meeting for the gym in the first time or your best friend. Ask them for the help. Be like, hey, let's go do this. Let's go try this thing together. And that could be the thing that changes your life forever. Just like my friend with the 3 classes. You know, I would not be sitting here today if she hadn't said, hey, buy this Groupon.
Awesome. Wanda?
I would say you're stronger than you think. Don't stop, because tomorrow if you stop today, you don't know what you can achieve tomorrow.
Yeah.
So don't stop. And everything that everybody said,
Yeah.
I reached out to Dee because a neighbor friend of mine was posting that she was working out. I was like, good for her. And then I was like, well, she can do it. I can do it. And that can start. So get out of your comfort zone. Try something new. Because I never thought I would lift weights, and I love it. I've tried all the other stuff, step aerobics, Zumba, all that stuff, which I liked. But I seem to be sticking with this.
Yes.
And I really like it. And I'm strong, and I like that. And everybody can do this too. It's not just me. I didn't do anything special. I just, except for consistency.
Yes.
That's the only thing, just sticking with it and not stopping. And everybody can do that as well.
Well, you don't know that you're going to love something unless you try it.
Yeah.
Aileen from our gym, she probably told me to go to Dee's for months. And I was like, Aileen, I cannot buy another gym membership. My husband will kill me. And then I finally gave in, and here I am.
Yes.
But you've got to go out there, and you got to put yourself out there and try something. You can't just say, oh, I don't like lifting weights. I don't like running. I don't like spin. How do you know? Go and try.
Do it. Just do it. So I would say, as I say every single week, what you've been through does not define your destiny. You can make one decision that creates your flip. The flip side of adversity is where you begin to live your strongest life. Count on you, bet on you, invest in you, and create that flip.
Yes.
I can't wait for you to continue on this journey with me all of 2025. In the middle of chaos, in the middle of distractions, in the middle of uncertainty, we are going to be talking about healing every single conversation. So same time, same place, right here on the flip side. I'll see you then.